think you are running an operation like this?
It's my operation.
Oh, it's a runaway operation? No runaways in that room.
Yeah,
You screwed up good, Ramsey. We got 2 dead officers. You understand me, mister? 2 dead cops. And we got 2 wounded. One of them your own partner. And we got 2 dead guinea punks. And nobody knows why or what the hell it's all about.
I know what it's about.
In 1984, the tech noir thriller Runaway was released in the USA and was later released in the UK in June 1985. It was a commercial bomb, taking a mere $6.7 million domestically in the States to a modest budget of $8 million. Written and directed by the prolific and occasional director Michael Crichton, Michael had written and directed movies such as the original Westworld in 1973, which is the basis for the HBO TV show, and the thriller Coma, starring Michael Douglas in 1978. He also directed the first Great Train Robbery, based on his own novel starring Sean Connery in the same year. Having written many successful novels which in the most part have been successfully transferred to the big screen, such as Andromeda Strain, Disclosure, Congo and Twister, but Michael's most famous work of course is Jurassic Park from 1993, based on his novel from 1990. Runaway follows the department's team of the same name that is based in a near-future LA police department, especially tasked with dealing with rogue domestic robots. The society has become dependent on to perform domestic duties. After a series of incidents of unusual behaviour and where a robot committed the first homicide and the life of a young baby is put in danger, Lieutenant Jack Ramsey and his team discover a plot by an evil Silicon Valley mogul called Dr. Charles Luther, who has been developing thermal imaging technology that he intends to sell as a weapon to cause havoc for a society dependent on these machines. Tom Selleck stars as Jack Ramsey. After suffering from vertigo affecting his police career, Ramsey takes on the role heading up the Runaway department in a slightly future America. Tom, who at the time was of course famous worldwide for his role in Magnum P.I., lost out on playing one of the biggest roles in cinema history as Indiana Jones, due to his schedule on Magnum P.I. Tom's other movie credits are in Leonard Nimoy's 3 Men and a Baby and The High Road to China. Tom had worked briefly with Crichton as he appeared in Coma as one of the hanging victims in the 1978 movie. Tom is said to be one of the nicest men in the business, and it's great to see him playing a slightly tougher role. Although his movie career didn't ever hit the heights of indie, Tom carved out a great career in TV and recently starred in Blue Bloods. Ramsey's partner Karen Thompson is played by Cynthia Rhodes, a short-lived starlet of the 80s. Cynthia played mainly in the dance-inspired movies of that time, such as Flashdance, the awful Saturday Night Fever sequel Staying Alive, but I guess her most noted role will be as Patrick Swayze's partner Penny in the 1987 sleeper hit Dirty Dancing. Rock group Kiss bassist Gene Simmons plays the aptly named Dr. Charles Luther. Gene was cast purely on his killer stare, which he uses to good effect. This and his character's heat-seeking smart bullet weapon make him a great villain, albeit in a 2-dimensional way. Gene later played bad guys in Miami Vice and the late Rutger Hauer film Wanted Dead or Alive in 1987 to critical acclaim. Luther's former lover is played by Kirstie Alley, at the time best known for her role as Lieutenant Saavik in Star Trek II. Notably, she didn't return for that role in the sequel Star Trek III The Search for Spock due to being offered less money, which was also released in 1984. However, Star Trek became the more successful movie. Kirstie would later of course have success in the hit US comedy Cheers. G.W. Bailey simply stars as the police chief. He's best known for playing goofy roles as inept officers in movies like A Police Academy, Short Circuit and also in Mannequin, so it's refreshing to see him in a different style of character here. The ever-dependable character actor Stan Shaw plays Marvin, helping Ramsey discover the tech and computer chips behind the robot's misdemeanors and Luther's heat-seeking bullets. Stan starred in many different roles, such as in 1987's Monster Squad and in Rising Sun, which was also based on Crichton's novel. Finally, we have Joey Kramer as Ramsey's son Bobby. Joey will be best remembered by a generation of kids for his role as David in Flight of the Navigator. Unfortunately, that movie, aside from being much beloved, has also bombed on release, so Joey's career didn't take off, leading to him getting into trouble with the law later in life. I'm guessing Joey was cast as Runaway was filmed almost entirely on location in Vancouver, British Columbia. Due to the near future setting, it was felt that the city's planning and modern architecture was a good fit. Only 2 days were filmed away in the US for the cornfield scenes, which caused huge crowds to gather because of Tom's star power at the time. Michael Crichton commented that the Canadian crew were both positive and enthusiastic, and the production was trouble-free, and the entire film would have been shot in British Columbia, except that the delay to the spring weather retarded the growth of the corn there, thus unnecessary to move to Moses Lake in Washington State in the USA for a 2-day shoot for the cornfield sequence. all expertly shot by the cinematographer of John A. Alonzo, who uses his expertise on the Steadicam to great effect. During the heat-seeking bullet chase sequences, John used cinematones for the cinematography in the movies like Blue Thunder. This is all complemented by the stunning score by the legendary Jerry Goldsmith, who delivers his first fully electronic synthesized score, sharing many beats with the later Total Recall. It has some thrilling chase sequences and also has some tender moments. All these often wouldn't sound out of place on a romantic American or police drama of the time, like Hill Street Blues. It's not in the same class as Vangelis' score for Blade Runner, but it's a memorable score and an interesting footnote in Jerry's work due to his pure electronic uniqueness. Although the movie is similar tale to many of Crichton's work about the misuse of technology, Crichton insisted this was not the reason for the film, more so as a modern-day police drama. However, technology is the main focus of the story. The film predicts domestic robots, video mail, social media, the internet, voice-activated computers, security recognition, camera drones, tablets, PCs and wireless headsets. Robots, gadgets and weapons featured in the film include a Magnum rocket gun with explosive heat-seeking missile smart bullets that can steer around corners, mini road mine robots that race under cars and explode, and of course the venom-spitting spider robots. Though the design of some of the robots today may look like demented photocopiers on maniacs stacking hi-fi units, this was a choice by Crichton to show that non-humanoid robots could be a threat. After all, do you trust the Alexa sitting on your sideboard? Runaway's biggest threat was another tech-noir future scaremonger, James Cameron's Terminator. Buried Runaway without a trace. All the movies share similarities: killer robots, a great chase sequence and ultimately a showdown in an industrial setting with plenty of pyrotechnics. And in movies like Will Smith's I, Robot, this also had similar themes of the genre in 2004, which was also filmed in Vancouver. Although Runaway bombed, it's become one of those old school VHS classics, many falsely drawn in by the misleading movie poster, as Tom never holds the heat-seeking gun, shown in that very tech-noir setting. In fact, the movie couldn't be any more 80s with its big hair, shoulder pads and vector graphics. I think that's one criticism I had as a kid when I rented on VHS. You have all this modern tech in a very contemporary day setting. I found that hard to take in. The movie also isn't hugely original, following the tropes of the suited-style gangster/villain whose ex-girlfriend or mole tries to rip him off and looks for protection from the police or a PI. Often this story was used in the 40s gumshoe movies and was heavily used in a renaissance in the 70s and 80s in TV police and detective dramas. And I'm sure the exploitative use of Kirsty in her underwear used in the trailers to market the movie would be frowned upon today. The movie does have a very TV movie sensibility, I'm guessing due to the lower budget, but most people love this movie, mainly for Simmons' killer stare, the heat-seeking bullets and those venom-spitting killer spider robots. I would highly recommend it if you're not familiar with it, and it's interesting just to see Tom in a different role, and Crichton's direction. There's a nice story arc as Ramsey faces his demons to save his son and get the girl in the end. It's one of those movies that you can't take too seriously. It's good fun spotting all the future tech and counting how many times Ramsey's name is said. It's great to revisit, and if you're riding the wave of 80s nostalgia, I recommend you don't miss this one. It's not one of the mainstream classics, but it's definitely for ones who love forgotten cult movies. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to subscribe to the channel, please consider pressing the link below, and don't forget to hit the bell notification button to keep up to date with all my future content. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and if you feel like donating to the channel, please check out my Patreon page. I look forward to speaking to you guys again for my next review, and thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.